Hello people, I am Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hello.
We're looking at Fan, Shah Rukh Khan, VFX Showreel, RedChillies.vfx. Fun fact, Fan is the very, very first Shah Rukh Khan film that I've ever seen.
Really?
Very first ever.
Okay.
And the trailer reaction actually got noticed by Shah Rukh Khan. He didn't talk to me. He didn't say anything about me, my reaction, or whatever, but he did see me because I did see him respond to it.
Okay.
So that is a fact. Or whoever is impersonating him on his Twitter account. It's the 4-year anniversary of Fan. Can't believe it's, gosh, time flies.
Wow.
Can't believe it's been 4 years already. So, we're all getting old, one day at a time. Okay, let's check this out. That subtle difference is actually really incredible. Because they made the character he's playing shorter.
Oh. That's so subtle.
Yeah, but it's difficult to pull. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it, so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Oh, that music. I apologize for lowering the volume. That music, the copyright music, might get me in trouble. Yeah.
So he's wearing prosthetics.
He's
as
wearing
well.
some prosthetic. Well, he's got the dots on his face to
Yeah.
help, like, you know, make it easier to track him.
Crazy. They did such a good job.
Yeah. Because he looks like.
He looks younger.
Yeah, he looks a lot younger, but he also looks like just a different
Just
person.
a different person,
Yeah.
but like kind of the same, but just completely different. That's wild.
But it's also in the acting as well. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not just the makeup and the effects.
I'm genuinely just like amazed.
Yeah, they basically photoshopped the crap out of him.
But like to do that in a movie and have it still work so it's not distracting, because I don't feel distracted by it.
No, I mean that's the thing is you don't even see it when you're watching when you're watching the movie.
That's like really good. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Is to have it be imperceptible.
Yeah, at this point I'm convinced that Red Chillies VFX is like the best VFX to come out of India because what they're able to do
Just look at that.
is pretty mind-blowing.
You know who he kind of looks like though? Rami Malek.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Sorry. I know some of you don't like when I do that, but... I didn't even realize that this were all green screen stages. I had no idea.
Wow.
When you're watching it, you don't even... It's done so well that you don't even realize... Yeah, that's incredible. It's pretty remarkable.
I'm literally just like blown away by like there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that I know what to look for, I can see it. But when I watched the film, that wasn't something that was on my mind.
Oh my god.
So that's how they did that. I had no idea. I mean, they were able to add like just an epic scale to things in post-production that would not otherwise be there.
That is wild.
There was also clever, they also had clever ways of shooting it and clever ways of like, it seems like they were selective about when Shah Rukh Khan actually was doing big movement as that other guy. Mm-hmm. Because if you look closely, like a lot of the instances where it's like a close-up on him, he's not always doing a lot of movement.
Right.
So it makes it a little, I would imagine it makes it a little bit easier to track and a little bit easier to make it feel realistic. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So they're just like taking all that info and then just throwing it on there.
I did not know that they were not really on a rooftop.
Oh my
I had no idea when I was watching this movie that was like a little set.
And just the way everything's lit as well. Like, oh wow. All the detail.
Yeah.
Wow.
They just gave away the ending in the movie, but
I was like, okay, spoiler alert for me. I haven't seen the movie, but like that's just crazy incredible and just makes me respect Red Chillies so much more for like their groundbreaking VFX work, and also Shah Rukh Khan, because I remember in that interview that we watched recently with him and Brad Pitt, you know, he was talking about how important it is to invest money in effects and moving that forward for Bollywood and the Indian film industry. And I watched this, and this was from 2016, and I can really see that Shah Rukh Khan is the type of person who really puts his money where his mouth is. So if he's like, I want to do that, he's going to do that.
I remember remarking about, while watching the film, for my review, I was remarking about how Shah Rukh Khan did a better job of playing Gaurav, the fan, than playing Aryan, who was basically himself. Which was just weird and fascinating to me because I believed the young character. I think Shah Rukh Khan's a character actor.
At heart, yeah.
At heart, and he's like Brad Pitt, and he should just do more character stuff. I remember Robert De Niro when Brad Pitt was nominated, one of the first times he was nominated for an Oscar. He didn't win, but Robert De Niro mentioned how he's a character actor and no one knew it. If you look at Brad Pitt's history, it's a lot of character actor roles. And I feel like Shah Rukh Khan actually does really, really well. He excels at character roles. I mean, you look at one of his most notable roles is My Name is Khan. It's a character. It's not just him doing his
like leading
thing,
man.
You know, I think he maybe secretly enjoys it more. I don't know. That's a question I would love to ask him because he really sold this role.
It's incredible too, and just kind of watching how they did it with all of the detail and stuff. And like I said when we were watching the video, like that's just a true sign of great VFX is when it's imperceptible. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back and forth. You have VFX artists that would agree with you, and you have VFX artists that would vehemently disagree with you.
For me, as a viewer, I want to feel like I'm immersed in the story, and I don't want to be taken out because I'm going, oh, that looks weird. You know, like so long as it tricks my brain enough that I'm like, ooh, I completely buy this. Like I buy that Gaurav is. Like, I know it's Shah Rukh Khan, but he looks completely different, and then he sells it with his acting too, and that's what you're saying, you know? It's like you can't just put the VFX on top of it and be like, well, that's fine. Don't worry about the acting. You still have to be a good actor in order to sell the physicality and everything, but the VFX helps.
I think that the VFX shown here is what I would call Fincher level. David Fincher, when because I think he used to be a VFX artist himself, when he implements visual effects into anything he does, be it a show or a movie, what he likes to do is what you're talking about, where you don't even notice it. It's just to enhance the environment. There was a show called Mindhunters on Netflix. I think he did the first 2 episodes of that, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it's not Mindhunters that I'm thinking of. It's like Mindhunters, Zodiac. He did Zodiac, and if you look at the visual effects there, you have to really look for it. There's visual effects all throughout that movie, but you wouldn't even know it. And the same thing happened here, where the stuff on the rooftop, I didn't know that was visual effects, and I'm always looking for that stuff, or at least my eye usually catches it. I'm trained like that, and so during that whole sequence on the rooftop, for the daylight action sequence, or in the midway through the film, or the last action sequence where Gara falls off the roof, I wasn't thinking, oh, that looks like a set, or that looks like visual effects. It looked photographic real.
Yeah.
I was very convinced. The 2 things that stood out to me as maybe not so realistic looking, and I generally forgive it anyway, is the train stuff. That one stood out to me. And I think what gave it away was the flagpole or whatever that is that went by the camera. Sometimes when you have stuff going by the camera and the camera's like impossibly still, it's like impeccably still and shit's flying by. Like if they had a camera shake to it, I don't even remember, but like there was something about it that gave it away where I'm like, that looks like, and the other one was, I forget, but most of it looked great. Oh, the action stuff where he's like on the side of the building and the chase is happening. I had no idea. I mean, I knew he was on wires. I didn't know that was all a visual effects stage.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That's wild.
The concert, that's what looked also like CGI to me. When Shah Rukh Khan walks out into the empty concert hall, that I thought looked like VFX.
Yeah.
When it pulled way back. But yeah, anyway.
I mean, that's fine. That's forgivable. But the thing I like is that it's literally just him with dots on his face. And I know that like they've been using dots on people's faces for VFX for like ever. I like that it's so unobtrusive because as an actor, you know, it's hard enough to just act in a scene and then add on top of that you're doing it perhaps in a situation where there's a lot of green screen, so you're really having to use your imagination and you have to trust that all of the gaps are going to be filled and it's all going to make sense, and like they do a really good job of that over here. But I like that it's unobtrusive so that he can just do his work. And it makes me wonder why for The Irishman they had to have that really weird complicated setup. And it didn't even look as good as this, in my opinion.
Oh, no, it didn't. This looked much better. But like I said,
there was 4 years ago.
There was also strategy involved in the behavior, because I think Shah Rukh Khan was willing to make the sacrifice to alter some of his movement sometimes in order to assist with the visual effects. Right? Because if there's a lot of movement, there's all that tracking involved, and it could throw it off to the point where you start to see the seams. Whereas in The Irishman, there was no dots, so there was no way to track it, which made it already more difficult. And so whenever they're doing movement, it just has this weird sort of like free head effect. Martin Scorsese was trying to achieve there was letting the actors do their thing uninterrupted, but that just exacerbated the complexity of that shoot. They had to have all these extra contraptions in there and these extra rigs, and there was a lot more work in post. And it didn't look anywhere near as good as they made Gorov look here. So I still think that Martin Scorsese made a big mistake there. I don't know why you brought that up. That just made me upset. God, like...
Well, no, because I'm watching this and I'm like, this came out years before that. And it looks better. And I think you're right, you know, like making compromises to the acting in the sense of like, okay, you're not going to be as free to just move around and do whatever. Like you really have to block this really well so that we can do it. And sometimes as a performer, that can be frustrating because you're like, I just want to have room to improvise or do whatever and do my thing and have a lot of movement. But that's part of the challenge of being an actor as well, is to have set parameters that maybe the director tells you, like, I want you to do this movement, and you're like, that doesn't really make sense to me, but okay, I'm gonna go with your vision and like figure it out. And I think like that's one of the challenges of acting, is just figuring it out and making it feel natural.
Yeah. Additionally, there was also some strategic shooting where if they could get away with not showing his face, they would do that. Like shooting him from behind, for instance, was one trick. I mean, they still had to like resize him sometimes. Shooting him from behind or having him like in a full. I remember when he went to Madame Busso, what's it called? Tussauds. I remember in that scene he had like a whole jacket thing and glasses, and so it was easier to hide him. There were little tricks they were doing in order to conceal him better. What it reminds me of is how we used to make movies, where we would strategically try to go about this in the smartest way possible that would be cost effective while impressing the audience. And that's what we used to do in the States, and now everything is just like blown out of proportion. We need to go back to that Jaws mentality. Jaws is the Steven Spielberg movie. Like, you had to be smart.
Yeah.
And this is smart filmmaking. It's all about strategy. It's not about just having everything in your face and letting VFX take care of it. It's working with the VFX team to achieve the best possible result. And I think that for the most part, outside of the two things I mentioned, they did a great job here. I didn't even realize that those were visual effects sets.
Yeah.
So hats off to, man, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, so you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to check out ACHARA KIRK on the social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video. Thanks so much for hanging out. Stay safe. Love y'all. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.